Good evening, everyone. My name is Rudy Page, and welcome to Homeward Bound Ghana Creativity Show. And I'm really pleased that we've got Neil Osborne, the founder of the Amco Foundation. Good evening, Neil. How are you?
Good evening, Rudy. How are you doing? I'm very well indeed. Thank you. Thanks for having me on board.
And thanks for being here. In fact, I should say good day because broadcasting digital, people are all in different parts of the world. So
That's quite true.
right, yeah, great to see you. So
Mm-hmm.
as I said, welcome to the Homeward Bound Ghana Creativity Show. So to us, creativity is about unleashing the potential of the mind to conceive new ideas. Innovation is about introducing change into existing systems and developing competencies to make new ideas viable. And of course, we also want new ideas to be able to be translated into economic value. So because of this, we believe entrepreneurs should join forces as combined entities and operate their business models across international boundaries and cultures, providing products and services with opportunities and solutions. We believe there is renewable energy within all our communities, regardless of their background and status. Implementation is key to attainment. So that's the values of the Homeward Bound Ghana Creativity Show. And I'd like to welcome you once again. So, Neil, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your background?
Sure, with pleasure. My name's Neil Osborne. My parents are both Ghanaian, actually, but I was born in Scotland. When I was 4 years old, we moved back to Ghana. So I did my nursery education, my primary and secondary, all in Ghana. My father was a professor of pharmacology, and my mother was an educator. So we grew up on a university campus because he was a lecturer, and we were surrounded by, all our neighbors were engineers, doctors, lawyers, well, not lawyers because science and technology, so professors and such like. And so I grew up in a very academic setting.
Yeah.
We had kind of a small library at home, so I started reading at a very early age, and I was very, very interested in science and technology from a very early age. We lived not too far from the university library as well. So again, from a very early age, when I was probably 9 or 10, I was already mingling with the university students and reading books on aeronautics and electronics and things like that. Very precocious,
Yeah.
So that was kind of how I got into kind of science and technology. And as I said, I was always kind of creating electronic projects and chemistry products and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And in fact, when I was young, I wanted to be an astronaut. That's the thing that I wanted to be. Yes.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem kind of out of the ordinary to me because, at that time I thought anything was possible. But looking back now, it's interesting that even though no one explicitly told me that you can't be an astronaut, I must have kind of somehow internalized that subtle messaging, and over time I didn't obviously end up as an astronaut, even though I ended up as an engineer of sorts, but more of a financial engineer, because I went to university, did a master's in mathematics, and then ended up in the city. I started off as a stockbroker, then moved my way on to being a risk manager at Deutsche Bank. And then I ran my own small hedge fund, trading derivatives. And I actually even wrote a book on how to trade derivatives as well. So that's kind of my background. So in a nutshell, that's kind of who I am and what kind of makes me tick.
Excellent, excellent. So what led you to start the Amco Foundation? What does Amco stand for, first of all?
Right, that's a good question. Anco stands for the African Middle Class Generating Company. So the whole idea was that this would be an organization that would go about creating businesses and actually empowering the people, kind of the local citizenry. So that's really why the name, or rather what the name stands for.
Yeah, so the aim is to create a middle class as opposed to it being a middle class.
Well, this is why I almost didn't want to tell you what it's simple, because I mean, some people could say, "Oh, what is this? A snobbery thing?" You know, but I mean, what I meant by middle class is really people who can, you know, have their own house and they, you know, they have their medical bills paid for and they have insurance. They're not living hand to mouth, basically, and you know, they have a, you know, a good life, basically. Yes, so that's what I meant. There's no class thing associated with it at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what led you to start it?
Yes, as I mentioned before, because I realized that I had somehow limited my aspirations without even really being conscious of it.
Right.
I just thought I think this is really kind of the thinking at the back of my mind. Excuse me. I just wanted to make sure that in future generations, any child will not have to, you know, kind of curtail their ambitions, and that they'll be able to achieve whatever they set themselves out to do.
I understand.
But what really kind of brought this to the fore was in 2018. I visited the University of Legon, which is one of the leading universities in Ghana, and I stumbled across their notice board, and I was really impressed with the quality of the research work that they were doing there. And you know, I won't go into all the details, but it was really, you know, top notch, you know, comparable to the research you'll find anywhere else. And it just occurred to me then that, look, talent is everywhere, but the opportunity isn't.
Opportunity, absolutely.
Exactly, you know. And so I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if there was a vehicle whereby those of us who want to help can actually collaborate with the youngsters with the talent, and actually create a nurturing environment, actually empower them, and then create a win-win scenario where we benefit and they benefit as well. And so that's how the foundation came into life.
Okay. So what are the core values and the underlying philosophy of the foundation?
The underlying philosophy, if there is one, well, there is one certainly. It's all about creating sustainable growth and empowerment. That's the philosophy, really. But our core values are, first of all, to identify and support latent talent on the ground, and then through our network, which is the Amco Enterprise Network, to nurture that talent and you know, and kind of bring it into fruition. And then secondly, to grow sustainable, socially aware businesses that empower and benefit the local citizenry. So this ties in with our underlying philosophy. We want to empower people. It's not just about enriching a few people, but we really want to uplift. And this ties back into this middle class generating company thing.
So what's
and then lastly, the third core value would be to highlight and showcase the talent that the continent has, and all the great work that's being done in the R&D developments, in research and development departments in the various universities. Yeah.
Excellent. So who is it aimed at in terms of access? What type of criteria would the young people have to fulfill in order to gain access to this?
Excuse me. So there are two sides to it, as you may have gathered. There is kind of like the diaspora and or the helpers, if you like, and then there's the talent.
Yeah.
In terms, are you asking the talent, the qualifications, or the?
Well, both. Let's do both. Let's access those who want to be part of it, and those who may want to be on board as mentors.
Okay, so starting from the mentorship side, basically it's anyone who shares our values. So anyone who subscribes to our values and our core philosophy, we call them the Friends of Africa, and they're all more than welcome. You know, so there's no other criteria other than wanting to see Africa do well and stand, you know, equal shoulder with other, you know, continents, and basically do business and do well, really. So that's all. It's open to anyone Actually, that raises a very important point, which I'll very quickly touch on. We are incorporated as a company limited by guarantee, which means that we're owned by the membership. So this is a collective effort, and it's not like I'm going to be able to kind of unilaterally make decisions, and it's something that we all benefit. And anyone who becomes a member basically has an equal vote, and is a co-owner basically of the vehicle. In terms of the talent, because of where we're starting from, initially it will be largely universities and university graduates. But the hope is that we cover areas like design as well. We would potentially be able to reach out to artisans and maybe artists and people who don't have formal education but are equally talented and gifted. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so STEM is the cornerstone. Then you're extending it through to the architects and to the
exactly. So the science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and being a mathematician. Well, I say that I haven't actually practiced mathematics for a while, but it's one of those few areas where honestly people Africans can compete on the global stage, because all you need is a piece of paper and a brilliant brain. You don't need kind of like a CERN collider as you do in physics, or so we could really discover the next equivalent of an Einstein, through our competitions and so on and so forth. So I'm really excited about that possibility.
And that sounds really good in terms of you just sponsoring a mathematics competition.
Absolutely.
I mean, especially with the ability to amplify the message across the diaspora. So I think definitely that's something we would definitely support. Sales. So what is the mission of the foundation, and what are the you've touched on some of the issues that you want to address. So what would be the most important institutional issues that you think the foundation could get itself involved in? So we're going beyond the individual. You've spoken about as an individual. So as a collective group in the diaspora movement, what do you see? Where do you see the foundation in addressing some of those institutional issues across the diaspora?
What exactly do you mean by institutional issues, so that I can answer the question correctly?
So in terms of the foundation, there's a group of people. So and you're talking about the mentors. So bringing together the mentors as a group, of course, you're going to create an institution of many different talents.
Right.
So there's some great synergy in there. So I'm just wondering, did you have any other great vision for the foundation based on the mentors and that talent, that energy, and the innovation that's going to come from bringing all that together?
I try not to subscribe to, or rather prescribe too much. It's a very organic thing, and I know that if you bring great people together with a great vision and a great team of people together, then basically anything can happen. There are several things that can happen, but I don't really want to go into all of that because it's kind of,
down the road.
Exactly, it's down the road, and I don't really I won't say don't want to show my hand, but it's. Sometimes people may think you're dreaming too big or something like that. So
but you learned from your early life that it is important to dream big.
Good point. Yes,
that's what we have to tell the young people. What do you want to be when you grow up? And whatever they say they want to be, there's no reason why they can't be if they work hard, given the information, advice, and guidance. As you said before, that's what it's about. And what you're doing is commendable, because there's the principles that we work with across all the diaspora. As it relates to young people, we say young people need somewhere to go, young people need something to do, young people need someone to show them how. Three very simple principles in terms of program delivery, project delivery. And I think the more we can get our professionals involved and just applying those simple principles, it will be of great benefit to everyone,
Absolutely.
including those professionals themselves. And as you would
Yes.
know, that having spent a life of taking executive decisions, these types of programs are important for professionals to learn what it means to be a non-executive director, and to be able to be a critical friend and to motivate teams of people without being hands-on, because we need more of the diaspora on major boards and understand what it means to be a non-executive role.
Absolutely.
So there is a payback for professionals when it comes to these types of programs. So we're in full support of what you're doing. So finally then, Neil, so what are your next steps, and how anybody who listening, watching, would like to get involved? I say listening because this program is also broadcast on Fresh FM Radio London, digital station as well. So how do they get hold of you? Website?
Right, yes. So we do have a website which is currently under construction, but they can still go there. It's www.amcofoundation. I think I'll spell it out so that there is no chance of an error. It's www.amcofoundation.org. A very long URL, but it's Amco, the Amco spelling for Amco Foundation.org. So it's www.amcofoundation.org. And if you go there, you could be able to register interest that you want to be notified when we launch, because we're launching in March of next year. And when we launch, we want to kind of get off to a great big start, and tell your friends as well to join us. We're at the beginning of a great journey, a great adventure is about to start. So let's all get involved. It's going to be really exciting because we will be doing really great things, and you want to be part of this and be able to say that you were there when it started from ground zero. So let's do something great with our lives, and let's all get involved in this and be the change that we want to see in the world.
Great, thank you very much for that.
Go to that website and register your email address, and then we'll contact you when we're about to launch.
Great. Right, thank you very much, Neil, and look forward to meeting up with you again in the future, and certainly looking forward to the launch in March.
Most definitely. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Have a good evening. Take care. Bye-bye.